Have you ever wondered why some men barely try, yet women can't stop thinking about them while others give everything they have and still get ignored? It feels unfair, almost cruel. You watch one man say very little, do very little, yet somehow he stays on her mind. And then you see another man texting all day, complimenting, planning, chasing, proving, and she slowly pulls away. No explanation. No closure. Just distance. Most men assume the difference is money, looks, or charm. They tell themselves, if I was taller, if I was richer, if I was funnier, things would be different. But that's a comforting lie. Because it protects the ego. The truth is harder to accept. What creates obsession isn't what you have. It's who you are internally. It's psychology. It's self-control. It's how you carry yourself when no one is watching, and especially when you're not getting what you want, and this is where most men fall into the trap. From a young age, men are taught that effort equals reward. Work harder. Try more, give more. Show her how much you care. So when attraction feels uncertain, the instinct is to increase effort. More messages, more attention, more explanations, more emotional exposure. You think you're building connection, but what you're actually doing is destroying tension. An attraction cannot survive without tension. This is the confusion. Men confuse availability with value. They believe being open, expressive, and constantly present makes them desirable. But psychology doesn't work that way. The human mind doesn't obsess over what is fully available. It obsesses over what feels slightly out of reach. Think about it honestly. The things you value most in your life, respect, success, confidence, did you get them easily? Or did they require restraint, patience, and self-discipline? Attraction follows the same law. What comes too easily is rarely respected. And what isn't respected is never obsessed over. This is why mystery matters. Not the fake kind, not playing games, but real mystery, the kind that comes from depth and self-containment. A man who reveals everything about himself too quickly removes all curiosity. His fears, his plans, his emotional wounds, his intentions, all laid out in the first few conversations. He thinks he's being honest, vulnerable, real, but what he's really doing is making himself predictable. And predictability kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. Imagine watching a movie where you already know the ending. No suspense, no tension, no reason to stay emotionally invested. That's exactly how attraction fades when there's nothing left to discover. A Stoic man understands this instinctively. He doesn't rush to be understood. He doesn't explain himself unnecessarily. He speaks when there's something worth saying, and remains silent when silence carries more weight. That silence is not weakness. Silence is control. This is the first major shift most men fail to make. They are afraid of silence. Afraid that if they don't keep talking, keep texting, keep showing interest, they'll be forgotten. But the opposite is true. Overexposure makes you forgettable. Restraint makes you memorable. And restraint doesn't come from strategy. It comes from self-worth. A man who is secure within himself doesn't feel the urge to prove his value through words. He doesn't need to convince anyone of his importance. His life already reflects it. His calm reflects it. His pace reflects it. Women sense this immediately, not logically, but emotionally. And emotion is where attraction lives. This is where Stoic philosophy quietly enters the picture. Stoicism teaches that your power lies in what you control: your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. Not external validation. Not approval. Not outcomes. The moment a man gives someone else control over his emotional state, he loses his center. And a man without a center can never be attractive. This is why predictability is dangerous. When a woman knows exactly how you'll react when you'll text, how you'll respond, how quickly you'll forgive, there's no emotional risk for her. And without risk, there is no excitement. No curiosity. No obsession. The Stoic man doesn't withdraw to manipulate. He withdraws because he has a full life. His attention is not always available because it's already invested elsewhere: his work, his growth, his discipline, his purpose. And because of that, when he does give attention, it feels valuable, earned, rare, Most men don't realize how much power they give away by oversharing. They mistake emotional exposure for connection. But connection isn't built by unloading your inner world onto someone. It's built when two grounded individuals slowly discover each other over time. Layer by layer. Moment by moment. Curiosity is the seed of obsession. When a woman leaves a conversation, still wondering about you, about what you think, what you feel, what drives you, you remain alive in her mind. She fills in the gaps herself. And the mind always exaggerates what it doesn't fully know. This is not manipulation. This is human nature. The average man rushes intimacy. He wants certainty. He wants reassurance. He wants clarity. And in doing so, he removes the very thing that creates attraction in the first place. The Stoic man is comfortable with uncertainty. He doesn't chase clarity. He lets time reveal what needs to be revealed. This calm relationship with uncertainty is rare. And rarity creates value. The deeper problem is not behavior, it's fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of not being chosen. These fears drive men to overextend themselves emotionally. To cling, to seek validation. And nothing repels attraction faster than emotional dependence. A Stoic man is not emotionally unavailable. He is emotionally regulated. There's a massive difference. He feels deeply, but he doesn't leak emotions uncontrollably. He chooses when and how to express himself. That choice alone sets him apart from the majority of men who react impulsively to every emotional stimulus. This is why women often feel safer and more intrigued around such men. His presence feels grounded, stable, unshaken. And when chaos meets stability, chaos becomes curious, drawn, slowly attached. By the end of this first shift, something uncomfortable begins to surface in the viewer's mind. A realization most men try to avoid. I've been trying too hard. I've been giving too much too soon. I've been chasing outcomes instead of building myself. This realization hurts, because it means letting go of old habits, old beliefs, old strategies that felt logical but never worked. But pain is often the doorway to growth. And Stoicism never promised comfort. It promised clarity. In the next part, the shift goes deeper. Because mystery alone is not enough. Emotional control becomes the battlefield. Reactions become the test. And most men fail right there without ever realizing that the moment they lost control of their emotions was the moment attraction began to slip away. But that's where the real transformation begins. Attraction doesn't disappear suddenly. It erodes quietly, usually at the exact moment a man loses control of his emotions. Not in some dramatic outburst, but in subtle ways. A double text. A jealous tone. A need for reassurance. A visible reaction to silence. Most men never notice the exact second it happens. But women feel it instantly. This is where emotional control becomes everything. Stoic man understands a hard truth most men resist. The fastest way to lose power is to react emotionally to what you cannot control. And in relationships, you cannot control another person's behavior, only your response to it. Imagine this simple situation. You send a message. Hours pass. No reply. For the average man, the mind begins to spiral. Did I say something wrong? Is she losing interest? Is she talking to someone else? Anxiety builds. The body tightens. And before logic can intervene, emotion takes over. He sends another message. Then another. Or he changes his tone. Or he becomes passive-aggressive. In that moment, he has revealed something far more important than interest need. A Stoic man experiences the same silence. But internally, something different happens. He notices the discomfort, acknowledges it, and lets it pass. He does not rush to escape it. He does not act to soothe his ego. He returns to his life, his work, his body, his mission. His emotional state remains steady. This is not indifference. This is discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. That principle sounds simple, but living it separates men into two categories: those who are ruled by emotion, and those who rule themselves. Women may not quote Stoic philosophy, but they are deeply attracted to men who embody it. Why? Because emotional stability feels safe. And safety creates space for desire to grow. A man who cannot regulate his emotions becomes unpredictable in the wrong way. His mood shifts based on attention. His confidence rises and falls with validation. His presence becomes heavy. Women feel this pressure even if they cannot explain it. And pressure suffocates attraction. The Stoic man, by contrast, carries emotional gravity. He doesn't demand attention. He doesn't seek reassurance. He doesn't punish silence with reactions. His emotional state is not something others can manipulate. And this creates a strange psychological effect. People begin to lean toward him, because humans are drawn to what feels solid. This emotional control shows itself most clearly during tests. And make no mistake, tests are inevitable. Sometimes conscious, often unconscious. She might delay replies, cancel plans, question your intentions, pull back slightly to see how you respond. The average man panics at tests. He tries to pass them by pleasing, explaining, or overgiving. The Stoic man passes tests by not reacting. He does not argue. He does not defend unnecessarily. He does not chase reassurance. His calm response communicates something powerful without words, I am fine with or without this. And, paradoxically, that's what makes a woman want to stay. This brings us to presence. The kind most men completely misunderstand. Presence is not about texting consistently. It's not about availability. It's not about being constantly reachable. Presence is about how you exist in a moment. When you are physically with her, are you actually there? Or is your mind scattered? Your phone buzzing? Your attention divided? Your words rushed. Most men speak too fast. Move too much. Look around the room while talking. Their energy leaks everywhere. A Stoic man is still. He listens more than he speaks. He maintains eye contact without forcing it. He allows silence without filling it. His words land because they are not rushed. This kind of presence feels rare today. And rarity again creates value. When you give a woman your full attention without desperation, it imprints. She feels seen without being chased. And later, when she's alone, that calm, grounded energy replays in her mind. Not because you tried to impress her, but because you were fully anchored in yourself. This is how obsession begins, quietly, not through intensity, but through contrast. Now we arrive at one of the most misunderstood Stoic principles: detachment. Most men hear this word and imagine coldness, distance, emotional withdrawal. That's not detachment. Detachment is simply understanding that nothing external is guaranteed. Not affection, not attention, not love. And because of that understanding, you enjoy connection without clinging to it. Clinging is fear in disguise. A man who clings is trying to secure something outside himself to feel whole. A Stoic man is already whole. He enjoys connection deeply, but he does not need it to survive emotionally. This difference changes everything. When a woman feels that you won't collapse if she pulls back, something unexpected happens. She feels the pull instead. Because emotional independence is intoxicating. If she takes space, you allow it. If she questions you, you stay grounded. If she tests boundaries, you don't bend to keep her. You don't threaten. You don't beg. You don't disappear in anger. You remain unchanged. This unsettles her in a good way, because she cannot control your emotional state. And what cannot be controlled becomes valuable. Most men think obsession comes from intensity, from constant attention, from proving devotion. But obsession grows in the space between moments, in the uncertainty, in the emotional contrast between men who need and men who choose. The Stoic man chooses. This is where internal dialogue changes. The old version of you might have thought, what can I do to make her stay? The Stoic version asks, does this align with who I'm becoming? That single shift is everything. You stop chasing outcomes and start protecting your standards. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding intentionally. You stop placing women at the center of your emotional universe and return yourself there. And here's the paradox most men never understand. When you stop trying to be chosen, you become choosable. Not because you withdrew, but because you grew. By the end of this stage, attraction is no longer something you pursue. It becomes a byproduct of your inner order. Your emotional stability, your presence, your detachment. You are no longer trying to be impressive, you're simply unshakable. And an unshakable. Man creates obsession not through effort, but through gravity. In the final part, everything locks into place. Because emotional control alone is not enough. Now you've understood the invisible rules most men never see. You've seen how mystery hooks attention, how emotional control creates tension, how presence and detachment pull her in without effort. But all of this is only part of the equation. The man who truly becomes unforgettable, who imprints himself on her mind and refuses to be ignored, does so because he has mastered himself completely. Self-mastery is the foundation upon which obsession is built. Discipline is magnetic. It radiates quietly from every action. Think of the man who wakes before the sun, trains his body, reads to sharpen his mind, works relentlessly on his craft, and refuses to squander his nights on meaningless distractions. He does not act this way to impress anyone. He acts this way because he respects himself. And women notice. Deep down, they sense the energy of a man whose life has weight, whose routine is anchored in purpose. It isn't enough to be emotionally controlled and present. A man must also cultivate gravitas, a force that demands attention without a word. Gravitas is built through consistency and self-discipline, through hours spent on craft, body, mind, and mission. This is why women look at such a man and feel a spark of awe mixed with desire. Because deep respect becomes desire faster than charm ever could. Purpose is the next layer. Many men make the fatal mistake of placing a woman at the center of their universe. They orbit her like a planet, hoping she will reward them with attention, affection, and approval. But purpose shifts the orbit. When a man's mission, goals, and personal growth take priority, a woman can sense that she is part of a world far larger than herself. And humans are drawn to significance. She will respect the boundaries you set, value the attention you give, and even compete silently for your focus because she knows it is not freely given. The combination of self-mastery and purpose is powerful. Together they broadcast a clear message without words. I am complete, yet I choose to share this life with you. That choice is magnetic because it carries both security and excitement. Women do not chase need. They chase energy that feels alive, independent, and rare. But the final element is unpredictability, the spice that keeps obsession alive. Unpredictability does not mean chaos or manipulation. It means living dynamically, refusing to be boxed into repetitive patterns. Most men fall into routines, the same dinner spots, the same jokes, the same predictable rhythms. Women notice predictability unconsciously. Predictable energy feels safe, but safe in the wrong way. It feels boring. Emotional creatures thrive on subtle surprise. Stoic unpredictability maintains your values while introducing fresh energy. Today, a sunrise walk. Tomorrow, a silent focus on your craft. Next week, a spontaneous trip or challenge. Your life is not static, and your absence has weight. That tension fuels obsession because she never knows exactly what to expect, but she trusts the man to remain grounded. Now, let's illustrate the difference. Imagine two men. The first pours everything immediately. He texts constantly, overshares, prioritizes her over himself, and reacts to every emotional cue. Initially, she may respond, but soon, predictability and neediness erode attraction. She grows distant without knowing why. His efforts, ironically, drive her away. The second man is the Stoic. He speaks when there's value. He listens, observes, and reacts intentionally. He controls his emotions. He invests in himself and his purpose first. He offers attention selectively. He remains present, mysterious, and unpredictable, all while grounded in consistency. Over time, she cannot stop thinking about him. The mind fills in the gaps. Curiosity becomes desire. Respect becomes obsession. Obsession, you see, is not manufactured. It is a byproduct of disciplined identity. It is created when a man refuses to chase, when he embodies principles women instinctively respond to: confidence, stability, presence, and purpose. These traits are rare. Most men give away their power with every reactive text, every need-driven conversation, every attempt to buy affection with gifts or words. The Stoic man does not. His power lies in himself, and because of that, he becomes unforgettable. The transformation is more than attraction. It's identity. It's the internal shift from a man who reacts externally to a man who commands internally. This is the man who sets the emotional tone, who maintains his center regardless of others' behavior, and who lives in alignment with his highest self. His energy is not chaotic. It is deliberate, calculated, yet natural. He does not play games. He simply lives according to principles that ensure his life has meaning independent of external validation. And here lies the final truth. Women become obsessed not because you use tricks or schemes. They become obsessed because you have become the kind of man they respect, admire, and cannot stop thinking about. Calm yet powerful. Detached yet passionate. Present yet mysterious. That balance, rarely found in today's world, is magnetic. At this stage, your identity is no longer negotiable. You don't chase outcomes. You select opportunities. You measure your attention as a form of currency. Every interaction, every word, every glance carries weight. You are no longer the man who bends, pleads, or panics. You are the man who stands unshaken. Imagine walking into a room. Your presence isn't loud. It isn't forceful. It doesn't demand recognition. Yet everyone notices you. Women are drawn subtly because your energy tells a story without words. A story of self-mastery, of purpose, of life fully lived. That story resonates deeper than any compliment, gift, or attempt at charm ever could. Now, here's the choice before you. You can ignore these principles, continue reacting to validation, chasing attention, giving your power away. You can remain the predictable man, always available, always oversharing, always hoping for external approval. Or you can take these Stoic lessons, these 7 psychological truths, and integrate them into your life. Live them. Breathe them. Make them non-negotiable. Let them form the foundation of your daily habits, your decisions, your presence. When you do, you will never have to chase again. They will chase you. Because the energy you radiate will be so rare, so grounded, and so intentional, it will draw attention naturally. Obsession is the inevitable result of authenticity combined with mastery. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop being predictable? To stop giving your power away? To finally become the kind of man who does not need to prove himself but is impossible to ignore? Because every moment you delay is another moment spent being forgettable, another moment spent fading into the background while the world rewards those who understand the laws of psychology and the power of Stoic identity. Becoming this man is not a trick. It is not a formula you follow once. It is a life, a standard, a personal code. Calm yet powerful, disciplined yet free, present yet mysterious, purposeful yet unpredictable. Live this way, and women will begin to chase you not because you tried, but because you finally became the kind of man who cannot be overlooked. And that, in essence, is the last lesson of the Stoic transformation. Obsession is never about control over another. It is about mastery over yourself. Everything else flows naturally from that truth. Discipline must shape the body. Purpose must shape the life. And identity must solidify into something unforgettable. That's where the transformation becomes complete.